Kelly Krauskopf, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you were perfectly fine when Fever fans were bending over, kissing your ass, applauding your decisions, you better stand here and take it when Fever fans are pissed off, upset, and are voicing their displeasures. If our voice mattered that much then, you best believe it matters that much now.
The president of the Indiana Fever just made a few remarks regarding Caitlin Clark that possessed the whole basketball world speaking. Additionally, I must say that the blowback was severe and quick when you make an effort to minimize your why it changes everything. Franchise players' significance. Karma has a humorous method of reminding you of the true leader. The consequences of this mistake are utterly crazy. What do you believe occurs when companies attempt to reduce their largest stars?
Fever brand is going to get as big and go as far as Caitlin Clark takes it. And I don't think Kelly Krauskopf understands that. And the latest video that is surfacing, floating around, being consumed by Fever fans across the globe, because this is an international superstar they have on their hands. This may have been the straw that broke the camel's.
Apparently, someone reactions from players and staff assumed it would be at the Indiana Fever. It was a great idea to record a conversation regarding their desired brand development. More than just Caitlin Clark, as nothing conveys a clever business plan like disparaging in public the individual who saved your franchise on your own from total insignificance. Isn't that correct? The Fever leadership provided remarks, and I'm being kind and referring to it as leadership here, where they discussed their desire to build a lasting brand. Caitlin Clark's role in all this similar to Apple, while ensuring that everyone is aware that they wish to avoid depending too much on their fundamental players. Fundamental players is corporate speak, by the way, because everyone is concerned about our group.
That we want to sustain the growth and the interest level in the franchise. I mean, this is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and we're going to continue to add to that. But I want this team to be the leader in the country, and a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple or something. I mean, we have a real opportunity here.
Allow me to explain how tone-deaf these remarks were. This executive, essentially fans erupt on social media, stated that they wish to maintain expansion and enthusiasm for the franchise, while also implying that Caitlin Clark, the individual accountable for that expansion and interest, shouldn't take precedence over concentrate. McDonald's claims that they wish to gain recognition for more than merely hamburgers while making a concerted effort to conceal the Big Mac. The prompt response from fans was just what you would anticipate when you disparage their intelligence. The media was inundated with people yelling the company for being fully disconnected from reality. Furthermore, to be honest, they merited all of the criticism. They succeeded.
This isn't the NFL. This is the WNBA. A star is going to take the Fever where the Fever want to go. And that star is Caitlin Clark. Kelly, you're talking about being a leading brand. You're talking about sustaining growth, sustaining the interest level in the franchise. You know how that happens? Is if Caitlin Clark stays in Indiana, is if Caitlin Clark is participating in an entertaining and exciting brand of basketball that doesn't take away and diminish her skill sets, that doesn't turn off fans that have been following her for the last 3 to 5 years.
This is how these bright business people appear to forget. Prior to the arrival of Caitlin Clark, maybe 4,000 people were watching the Fever. On a good night. Each game television ratings were so poor that they hardly signed up. The final thoughts and what's next group was basically unseen in the world of sports. Next, when CC arrives, they start selling out arenas. Setting records for attendance is truly pertinent in the national discussions, but in some way, in their unlimited wisdom, they believe occurred as a result of their incredible structure of the organization and not due. They possess a gift that transcends generations. People genuinely want to see the game basketball. The illusion is completely stumbling. The analogy to Apple is very amusing, since Apple became Apple by constructing their whole brand centered on cutting-edge goods that altered everything. They were unsuccessful by attempting to minimize the iPhone or act as though the iPad didn't matter. They accepted their revolutionary inventions and constructed everything in their vicinity. This is exactly what the Fever should be doing. What profitable franchises always have finished with their celebrities. When you possess Michael Jordan, you don't make an effort to lessen his influence. You construct the entire company centered on optimizing his abilities. When you possess Magic, you don't act like the team. Johnson would be equally well liked without him. Showtime wasn't created by the Lakers by mishap. The Bulls did not turn into a worldwide phenomena by accident. These things occur because intelligent groups realized they had unique players and constructed their whole identity centered on exhibiting those abilities. However, it seems that the fever-brained that memo was overlooked by trust rather than accepting the truth that they were victorious. Caitlin Clark in the lottery. They're concerned about distributing the riches and ensuring that each person receives their shine. They seem to be more focused on injured sentiments rather than triumphing titles. Additionally, let's discuss the timeliness of these remarks as it makes them even more absurd. This arrived immediately after we had been observing. Caitlin faces challenges in a system that doesn't make the most of her skills. We've seen her needing to struggle for contact, handle teammates who fail to pass, and participate in an offense that appears to be planned to reduce her effectiveness. Thus, when fans are already annoyed by the way the organization is managing their what-do-they-do superstar, they leave public with remarks that essentially validate everyone's worst suspicions regarding their top priorities as if they were attempting to douse a fire with gasoline. The retaliation was swift and severe. Admirers began to wonder if the organization truly merits. Caitlin people started conversing regarding how she could benefit somewhere else when her contract situation permits it. The complete opposite of what you desire when attempting to construct a long-lasting brand. And this is the kicker. They have every right to be worried. Caitlin Clark is more than simply going to remain in place indefinitely if the company doesn't demonstrate that they are devoted to victory. She has too much talent and too competitive to waste her time waiting prime years working for a company that doesn't value their possessions. The in contrast to other markets is especially instructive. What if Clark were performing in Boston or New York currently with this type of dysfunction inside the organization? Sports radio would be completely ruining the daily management. The press, there would be constant pressure and adjustments would be demanded right now. However, due to their location in Indianapolis, they believe they can get away with doing this type of thinking backward. They're keeping track about drawing attention to. In the same way, the greatest irony in this situation is that by attempting to defend oneself from relying on Caitlin Clark too much, in reality, they're becoming more at risk of losing her. When you don't appreciate everything that you have, you establish circumstances under which that asset becomes accessible to businesses that take action. Additionally, there are organizations who would be happy to welcome Caitlin Clark. Definitely develop their whole identity about optimizing her achievement marketplaces that would instead welcome her fame of attempting to control it in order to create. Everyone is at ease. The concept of karma of the entire circumstance is that their remarks right away produced the precise sort of dispute and censure they were most likely attempting to avoid rather of appearing to be a well-managed company. They arrived with well-balanced priorities, seem like CEOs who are tone-deaf and don't comprehend their own business plan. It's most likely the most accurate evaluation of the events that took place here. These are some who were extremely fortunate but don't really comprehend why they received fortunate. They believe that their achievement is reproducible without the individual who made it, and they will soon discover an extremely costly lesson about reality of professional athletics when you downplay your franchise and public player significance. Therefore, don't be shocked when the world of basketball calls you out for it. The leadership of the Fever just discovered this fact the hard way. What do you think? If organizations ever attempt to downplay their superstars, permit me to find out in the comments. Hit that like. Click the subscribe button to see additional takes that break through the corporate heat.